Oh, you're in the video. Is that okay?
You
don't have to. Oh, there I am. I got it. I got it. Hooray. Okay. I got it. I did it. I'm going to turn off my fan.
You want to put your black shield now?
Oh, I could. I'm live right now, but no one's here yet. I've already started. Oh, there's somebody here. Someone's here. Who is here? Now, how do I know who's here? Someone say something. Type something. I bet it's Dolly. Okay. 2 people are here. How do I see who's here? If you're here, type something in the chat and let me and say who you are. So I can see you. Maybe if I click here. No, never done this before. I don't see anyone typing anything. Let's see, top live chat. Oh, there we go. Live chat. Okay. Participants. Participants. Well, it says there's 2 other people here. Don't know. Okay. Well, I'm going to type something. So let's see. My cell is 304-952-8615. If the chat isn't working, text me. Smiley face. There we go. And send. So let's see if people can see that. Let's see who wrote me. All right. I have 3 people now. Dolly! Dolly is here. Okay, it's working. Thank you for writing. Thank you so much for writing, because I don't know who's here unless you write. It appears that I cannot see who's here. Yay! Dolly's here. Okay, if anyone else wants to let me know you're here, type a comment. Thank you, Dolly, for letting me know this is working. I really appreciate that. This is weird, just having my own voice here without anything else. So there's 4 people. Yay, Dolly. I'm so glad you are here. Adrian. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Adrian texted me. Yay. So it says that you have to have a channel to join the chat. That's really good to know. Okay, so everyone has to have an account or a channel. I will have to look into that and let people know. This is good to know. I have not done my research. I'm just going live. So, and my camera's here and my computer's here, so I'm not going to be looking like directly at the screen most of the time. Okay, so my number's there. If someone has a question, they can text it to me, and or you can type it in the live chat. And if no one has a question, this will be very short. I can also talk about something random. I'll just pick something. So Adrian and Dolly are definitely here. It seems there's one other person stalking, but I don't know who it is. So do either of you have a question, or are you just going to observe? Because if you're just going to observe, I can start talking about something. I'll just pick something. Hoping someone super smart will have a cool question first, but I can try to come up with something. Thank you, Dolly. I think, wait. Oh, let's see. This is someone not watching. In YouTube live stream. Join? Question mark. Maybe she'll come. It's a student, actually. All right, so no questions, Adrian? I'm going to talk about something. Let me leave my phone up in case someone texts me. All right, so I'm not necessarily prepared to talk about this, but let's talk about something. So if I have, and I'm going to forget some things, so you'll have to bear with me. But I'm gonna get it. Whoop! That's all my stuff. There we are. There's my piano. Oh, it was stuck on a cable. I knew something was wrong. Okay, so there we are. Hold on. What's going on? Oh, there we are. Okay, so if I have, let's see how high I can get this. Ooh, that's pretty good. I can get most of my keyboard in here. Okay, so C, there's C. 7. Okay, I'm going off the thing a little bit. All right, if I have, let me see if I can go just a little higher and a little off to the side. I think that's as good as I can get it. Oh, hey, woohoo! All right, that's good enough. That's good enough for this, especially for a trial run. All right, if I go up with fifths, so here I'm going to go, oh shoot, that's all right. 1, 2, if you don't mind, but if it's okay. So anyway, we might have a little background noise. It's fine. So fifths, and my piano's out of tune, just so you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where am I? 10, 11, 12. There's a C up there. 12 fifths. All right. If I go up, there it is. If I go up 12 fifths and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 octaves. And I made a video on this, but that's not why I'm going to talk about this. I'll get into it a little more in a minute. So if I have, what did I just say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 octaves and 12 fifths. If I were to tune octaves pure, meaning pure at the first consonant partial, just pure, all the way up to the top, they would come out to a certain pitch up here. If I tune fifths, 12 fifths, all the way up to here, the note I would end up would be sharp of where I was when I tuned my octaves, from where I tuned my octaves. And that is the Pythagorean comma. Now, I'll tell you why I'm telling you this in a minute. I can also tune up with fourths, okay? And if I get up high enough with fourths to match some octaves, my fourths are going to come up short of the octave, wherever they line up. And so in order to temper, fifths came out wide, so what do we have to do? We have to narrow the fifth. Fourths came out narrow, so what do we have to do? We have to widen them so that things come out correctly. Someone asked me which intervals are wide and narrow, or why certain intervals are wide and narrow. So if you just look at fifths and fourths, that's why fifths are narrow and fourths are wide. And it's the same with all the other intervals. So if I have major thirds, yada, 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 and I tune them up until I match an octave, the major thirds are going to be way short of the octave. Way, way, way short. In fact, you can do it in just one octave. Right here, if I tuned these pure, it would be short of that octave. And if you kept going, it would be even shorter. And so what do we have to do with major thirds? We widen them. Now, how to think about the wide versus narrow. So major thirds, the inverse of a fifth is a fourth. The inverse of a major third is a minor sixth. Okay. If a major third is wide, then a minor sixth comes out narrow. And it would be true if I tuned up a bunch of sixths until I came out to meeting something else. The sixths would be very short of where they needed to be. We would have to minor sixths. Yes, they would come out too wide and we would have to squish them down. I say things backwards sometimes. So an easy way to remember which ones are which, sort of. If I just look at an octave, let's look at let's look at C to C. Let's look, very out of tune. Let's look at a C to C octave. If I look at the G in the middle between these two C's, I have a fifth on the bottom and a fourth on the top. If I need to narrow my fifth and I move my G down, what happens to my fourth? My fourth becomes wide. So if fifths are narrow, fourths are wide. The inverse of anything has the opposite quality of wide and narrow. So if major thirds are wide, minor sixths are then narrow. If we have a C to C and E is a major third down here, if we have to widen it by moving it up, we're narrowing this minor sixth. All right. So major thirds are wide, minor sixths are narrow. And if I have, let's look at a major sixth. Major sixths are wide. So if a major sixth is wide, we have to move this up. We're making the minor third narrow. Minor thirds are narrow. The only thing that's a little tricky to remember, fifths and fourths, you just have to remember. Major thirds, major sixths, the major is the wider one. But with sevenths, it's backwards. The minor seventh is wide and the major seventh is narrow. So if a minor seventh is wide, then the major second is narrow. And if the major seventh is narrow, then the minor second is wide. So somebody asked me why, so I'm going to reiterate this with the minor seventh. If I tuned a bunch of minor sevenths up or around and somehow matched some other intervals, octaves, let's say, okay, the minor seventh would come out short. And so we have to expand it to meet. So all our intervals come out even in equal temperament. So that's why a minor seventh is wide. That's why they're wide and narrow. And I wanted to explain that to someone who's not here, but I can send them the video that comes out of this. So that's my random thought. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, there's more people here. So if you're here, give me a shout out. Either comment in the live chat and let me know you're here, or I will do this again. My cell, Maggie's cell, is 304-952-8615. There we go. If you have a question, if it seems that you can only enter the chat if you have hi, you get to see my mess. Woohoo! It seems you can only enter the chat if you have an account. So yay, Noah is here. Hello. I'm not surprised, but thank you. Okay, so Noah says, hello, I'm surprised more people aren't here. Your videos have been a huge help to me. I'm a learning piano tuner who is getting help from the tuner at my university. Wonderful. Looking for some help with explaining getting stable unisons. Oh my God. The question of the century. Yes. Okay, I will try. I can tell you what I know. And if anyone else is here, please ask. You can text me. You can comment. A lot of people aren't interested in aural tuning these days because of ETDs and stuff like that. So I wasn't really expecting a lot of people to be here. But, if I've had up to 5 at a time. There's only 2 here right now. That's fine. I'm happy to be here. So hello. Okay. unisons. I will do my best. This is hard. So somewhere here. Let me get my camera again. Oh, come on. Oh my God. All right. Let me get it over here on my lever. Hey, I think that's going to work. Hold on one second. That's even better. Oh, that's a good view. Okay. So you can't see my left hand, but I think you'll, well, let me see if I can get a view of my left, a little bit of my left hand as well. Maybe. Nah. You'll be able to know if I hit it hard. You'll be able to know. Okay, so let me pull out. Oh, I already have a unison out here. Okay, so there's different theories about this, and what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to explain my understanding of some things. I'm not certain they're completely correct, but the ideas work for most people, especially me. And I'm going to say some things that are controversial. So if your mentor says, oh my God, she's wrong, don't ever do that, you can listen to him. You don't have to listen to me. It's fine. I am a fan of Dan Levitan and his lever technique. And so that's kind of, I teach what he teaches because it works for me. So let me back up a little here. Let's see, where am I going to start? Let me start with the strings. So if you have a certain amount of tension in your speaking length, which is out here, this is your speaking length. And up here is the non-speaking length. This makes no sound when you play a note. All right. There's a lot of tension on the A graph and on this felt, believe it or not, depending on how much slope you have. The more slope, the more friction, excuse me. I meant to say friction. There's a lot of friction on this A graph, a lot of friction on the felt. How much friction you have will determine your lever technique because it's not always the same. So there's exceptions to everything I'm going to say, including this thing I'm about to say, because I don't always tune this way. But in general, if you come up, well, I went past it. In general, if you come up from the bottom to note and let go, it's going to go flat. Not always, not on all pianos, but most of the time. And I believe the reason for that is you've got, let me see, because yeah, this shows. So if you take your hand and hold your finger and turn your finger, you can turn it a little bit. You know, your skin kind of sticks to your skin, and you can turn it and turn it and turn it. And then if you kind of relax, it goes back a little bit. So that's kind of what's happening here. The wood fibers are grabbing that pin and they're being turned with the pin just a little bit. And so when you let go, it wants to go back where it was. And that is compounded with the tension on this string. The tension wants to pull it down. So if you come up to the note and let go, chances are it will want to pull down, but not always. I'll try to explain exceptions. But anyway, so I'm going to come to a test blow in a minute. So in general, when you're learning this, come from above. And on some pianos, if the friction, and then there's another factor here is pin tightness. Okay, so if the pin tightness is too tight or too loose, that changes how you do things. If the friction is too high or too low, that changes how you do things. The friction on this piano is a little on the high side. The pins are good. They're nice medium tightness. It's not bad. But the friction is a little high, which makes it difficult to tune. I'm going to do a test blow on this. So I don't know how this is going to come out on YouTube, but I'm going to whack it a couple times here. Okay, that held. Right, that's my test blow. I thought it might because I could feel when I came down, I could feel the bounce back. If you have really tight pins and you're pushing down, it will bounce back a little bit, just like it does when you're pulling up. When you're pushing down, it can bounce back a little bit. And the pins on here are healthy. If you are on a piano with very loose pins, that's not going to happen. You can't depend on that at all. It's going to be a little bit harder to make it stable. and high friction can make it hard as well. So if I had looser pins, what I would do, I'm going to come down, and this is where people will get on my case and say, don't do that. But I know a lot of people who tune this way. I've been told by other people it's correct. Dan Levitan does it this way. I do it this way. People can criticize. I don't care. That, you know, if you're told not to do this, don't do whatever, you know, you're instructed, but keep it in the back of your mind. All right. So I'm going to push down, but I'm going to, let me see if someone texted me. Nope. I'm going to push down on my lever, not too hard, but I'm going to push toward, not rotating toward the strings, but literally downward toward the strings on a grand piano as I lower it. So I'm kind of pushing at an angle. And it actually did bounce up quite a bit. So what I'm doing there is I'm getting more bounce back. If the pin is loose and I can't count on the twist to bounce back, I'm going to flex the pin. And when I flexed it, it's literally bending this way a little bit. It can damage the wood. Don't do it too much. If you don't do it all the time, you're not going to cause major damage to the wood. If you do it too hard, yeah, you're going to damage stuff. So don't do it too hard. But when the pin flexes back, it gives me stability. Now, I'm going to explain how that works. There's a certain amount of tension in the speaking length and a certain amount of tension in the non-speaking length. When you have a hard blow, let me test what I just did here. I think it went sharp. Let me find out. Yeah, it did. It went sharp because I flexed too much. The pins are reasonably tight. I really don't need to flex much on this particular piano. If the pins were loose, though, that would have been stable. Now, I want the tension to be equalized between the speaking length and the non-speaking length. Oh, I lost somebody. Oh, okay, I see you. That's what I've been doing. Okay, normally, but it isn't always stable, right? Okay. Don't work, but it isn't always stable. So you're flexing? But my personal practice piano at home is an old Wurlitzer. With loose pins. Well, it's good you have both to practice on. Okay, so here's what you want. You want this string tension to be equal on the speaking and non-speaking length on a hard blow. On a hard blow. Because if it's not, if you have this equalized at rest, then a hard blow will increase the tension in the speaking length and it will make it go flat. So that's the goal. You want a little bit more tension in the non-speaking length. How you get that can be different. If your Yamaha piano that you were talking about has really tight pins, you can put the lever here. And what will happen is you'll get a little natural flex right here. Oh, I went past it. I'm getting a little natural flex just by having it at this angle. So you can do that too. Jeffrey's here. I don't know who Jeffrey is, but hello. Okay, so back to where I was. Let me think now. Oh, yeah. My goal the last 5 or 6 years has been to try to tune and get stable tunings without banging on the piano, because banging works, but it's really bad for you. It's bad for the piano. It's bad for your ears. I really don't want to go deaf. So I've been trying to just use tuning lever technique to get stability. Let me think. Let me read what you said again. Doing when... Hello from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hello! Yay!
Hello.
Okay. Noah said, that's what I've been doing when moving things normally don't work. Oh, okay, I read it now. But it isn't always stable. Okay. When I started tuning and when I started an apprentice, you can put earplugs in and bang. I hate saying this because I don't it's not good, but it'll be stable. When I took my tuning exam and I needed stability, and I don't tune this way normally, but I was banging on it on my exam because I know I can get good stability really fast by doing that. But you're messing with the tone, you're messing with a million things. You don't want to make that a normal practice of tuning. I don't know that I have better advice. Practice, 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 practice. It took me, God, I think it took me 3 years before I really had stable tunings. I mean, it was gradual. It wasn't like overnight they were stable. They were stable enough after practicing for about a year, but then it took me 3 years before I was happy with it. So that's a good question. Dolly asked, do most people bang like that? Some people do and some people don't. I did for way too many years, because it worked. And I was desperate and I didn't have a good teacher. Or I had some good teachers, but they didn't live near me. I didn't have access and things like that. So some people know it works and they do it, especially with an ETD. If you have an electronic tuning device, you can really bang. If you're tuning by ear, banging distorts the tone, and it distorts your pitch. It splatters the pitch a little bit. It's not great. Noah, I have a feeling it's just getting accurate with getting the right bending of the pin to get the tension right. It's a concept I've been aware of. Okay, pretty much as long as I've been tuning. Okay, so you already know. Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Natalie says I tune pretty hard. There you go. You know, it works. It works. I have to stop. I had to stop banging because it was irritating my ear ringing, my tinnitus. Yeah. Natalie says, I agree with the hard blows changing pitch and tone. If you're just doing unisons, it's not as bad. But when you're tuning the, aurally, you really don't want to be banging. So if you're tuning aurally, oh wait, let me put this back in here. If I'm moving an octave, I'll do a test blow and then check the interval again and things like that. Yeah, I think it's a matter of practice. And every piano is so friggin' different. It's maddening. So on some pianos, I will flex a little bit more. When there's more friction, when the friction is too high, I flex on the hard side. On this piano, I don't have to flex hardly at all. But I have 2 pianos that I tune, just 2. I flex way too much on those pianos, but it's the only way I can get them to be stable. I made one video about one of them. Natalie, and yes, I feel deaf after. Yeah. See, I had to stop. My ear ringing is not from tuning pianos, but the piano tuning aggravates it, and I can't stand it anymore. Let me see if I can do it on video. This is going to be embarrassing if I can't do it. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to plug my ears. That's my E flat. I have an E flat constantly in my left ear. I can fake perfect pitch with that, which is kind of fun, but I'd rather not have it. I have a C, an E flat, a G. That's sometimes Morse code. Rarely I have a D right here. So I have that going in my ears all the time, and then that. And I don't want to make that louder. Okay, Noah. Yeah, as a conductor in training, I'd like to keep my hearing. Yes. Band directors, conductors, wear earplugs, please, please, please. There are too many old tuners who are deaf. There just are. And I'm Dolly, I know. Wow. It's true. It's really true. And I know I damaged my hearing early on when I was banging all the time. I know I did. So, sorry I don't have a better answer for you, Noah, but it sounds like you know what you're doing. It sounds like it's just a matter of practice. Test blows as needed, and just keep working with the lever. And if the pins are tight, try the 90-degree trick. Sometimes it works really well. You don't have to bend a pin at all. Let me explain how that works real quick. Well, wait, Noah, just a quick question. How are you feeling? What is the tension in the strings in the non-speaking length? I don't know. I know it's high. It needs to be higher in the non-speaking length. Not a lot higher, because okay, so if you get the tension too much higher, then it'll go sharp. And so, you know, sometimes people ask me, well, how much more tension? I don't know. I just don't know. I feel it now. I mean, I've been tuning for over 20 years, so I feel it now. What was I going to say? Speaking length, 90 degrees. Oh yeah. Hold on, Dolly. I'll be right with you. So if you, most people say to have the hammer in line with the strings as much as possible. That's because the string flexes in the direction the lever is turning a little bit. I mean, string, brain. I do this all the time. I misspeak. The pin is flexing in the direction the lever is turning. So if you have it here, then you're flexing the pin this way and it's not affecting the pitch. If you have the lever over here, then you're flexing the pin in the direction of the string, which will affect the speaking length, the pitch of the string. The neat thing though, is that if you flex it this way as you're tuning, you can actually use it to tune and get stability. If the pins are tight, if the pins are loose, don't do this. It'll mess you up. Dolly says or asks, can you wear earplugs throughout an entire tuning? I cannot, but many people can. Many people wear earplugs while they're tuning. My problem, I can wear earplugs if they let a lot of sound in, if they're really weak, because my ear ringing is so loud that once I put earplugs in, that's all I hear. And I will lose my mind. I can't do it. Can't do it. So, does anyone have any other questions? Where am I here? Hello. Gosh, how do I do this? There I am. There's all my stuff. Hi. Natalie says, yeah, I think feeling the non-speaking tension is something you develop as you familiarize with the relationship between your movements and what you hear changing from your movement. Yes, you do. It's almost Zen. Become one with the lever, you know, become one with the pin through your hand, through the lever, through the pin. Yeah, it's like practicing an instrument. If anyone here is a musician, as you know, the more you practice an instrument, the more you do things without thinking about it and such. Thomas W., how does non-speaking length feel in the hand? Oh God. I will try to answer this. Okay, let me see. Let me think. That's hard. Oh gosh, I don't know if there's words to describe this. I'm going to show you one thing that doesn't really answer your question, but I think it's the closest I can get. So listen to me tune this unison. And what I'm about to show you might not work, but it's still the idea. On a piano like this with nice tight pins, I'm going to push here. I want you to listen to it come into unison, and then I'm going to push it a little bit past, unless it jumps. This is a very jumpy piano. I jumped. Hold on. Let me try it on the way up. It'll have the same idea. There, I went past it too far. Let me try going down again. There. Nope, it's not going to do it. Okay, there. Now. It's a bounce back. So, hear that? Now watch. Do you hear the roll in it now? It bounced back. It's a bounce back. So the non-speaking length tension right now in this is actually a little too high. It's bouncing back really strong. I can push it into a unison. There it is. Hear that? Now watch. I don't know if that's coming through. If you can either twist it or flex it. If you can twist it or flex it more easily sharp than flat, then you've probably got a good balance. If you're twisting or flexing and you can twist it or flex it more flat more easily than you can sharp, then you know it's bad. That might help. Natalie, I can feel the vibration of beating speeds and them coming together to form a unison in the lever handle. Yes. Yeah, you can feel it. So Natalie, Natalie's an aural tuner, everybody. So she knows, and she's experienced. She knows a lot of this stuff. So Natalie, how would you explain how you know when the pin is set? How do you know when the tension and the non-speaking length is right? That's a hard question to answer. It's a feel. It's a feel. You can more easily pull it sharp than push it flat. That's how you know. That's probably not a great answer, but it's practice. Well, we got 9 people here now. Hello, everybody. So for anyone who's here, all my music's and everything over there. Hi. For those who are here, Natalie, honestly, when I give it a hard blow and it stays, I feel okay and move on. Yeah, hard blow. That's it. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm using more flexing and twisting because I'm trying to, that's why I tune hard. Yeah, exactly. It works. It works. A lot of people tune hard because it works. I've been trying not to. And so I've been really working on my lever technique with twisting and flexing in order to, how do I do this? There I am. In order to not have to hit them hard because of my ears, because of my ear ringing. Thomas, I always I have a mentor who does that. I always shake the lever a bit and check what non-speaking length is changing or staying in the middle between sharp and flat. Yeah. By shaking, I mean really gentle movements. My mentor does that. One of my mentors, he shakes the lever, and I never liked doing that, but that's what he does. Natalie, I need to work on your method. Thank you. Maybe I can tell you people who criticize my method, but I can tell you other people who say they tune exactly like I do. So you got to find what works for you. Everyone's different. And that's the thing. You have to use what works best for you. But I'm trying not to bang. So let me see if I can shake the lever the way Thomas is talking. I'll show you how my mentor does it. And then this is not what I was expecting to talk about today. So my mentor will tune and then he'll go like that. And if it stays, then he feels more confident about it. I never got a feel for that. That didn't work for me as much. Thomas, I'm a piano tuner from Germany. Went through the apprenticeship. Like to hear how you do it. Oh, sweet. Hi. That's so cool. That's so cool. Wait, who is the one who I was talking to earlier? That was Noah. And this is Thomas. Oh, well, hello all the way over in Germany. That's so cool. Noah's here. Noah, I need to find some kind of apprenticeship because I really do want to do this professionally. Yeah, I struggled, and I was one of the lucky ones because we have the Piano Technicians Guild here, and I found the local chapter, and some chapters are very nurturing and others are not. And I was really lucky. I got a nurturing chapter, and I got 2 fairly strong mentors in that chapter. And then I found some other mentors through the guild, and they've been really good to me, and I appreciate them. So yeah, it really, really helps to have someone to help guide you. I'm helping someone right now who's in Florida, and she texts me and calls me, and we Zoom and stuff like that. So with Zoom now and original sound and things like that, you can get a lot of help that wasn't possible years ago. You can get a lot of help. It's easier now. Don, hi from Maryland. Does the type of tuning lever make a difference in feeling the pin set? I'm going to say yes. So to a point, let me hold on. So the main thing I think is the tuning tip is you can get a great lever and have a crappy tip. Forget it. This is a Dan Levitan basic lever. This is one of the best of the cheap levers. And I've got a Rayburn tip on it right now, which is very expensive. But Rayburn tips and the Taffian, Taffjin, I think, Taffian tips with the little mouse on them. Those are awesome. I like my Fuyon lever out in the field because I like changing lengths. I'm very moody when it comes to my levers, and the Fuyon is like Legos. I can make it whatever I want at any time. This one I use here at home. I have a C lever as well. And I can, if I have a good tip on it, I can feel a lot. I think the tip is the most important thing. And then the rest of the lever, you get to just fit your hand and your personality. My personality is being able to change constantly. So I like the Fuyon because I can change the lengths. I had a Rayburn lever for a while. Oh my God, does it feel good in your hand? It feels so good in your hand. But I couldn't change the length. So I went back to my Fuyon. But the tip, it's the tip. The tuning tip is the bomb. That's my opinion anyway. So, Thomas, in my practice, I found out that carbon fiber hammers give more direct touch to the pins. Yeah, my Fuyon is a carbon lever. It's in my car right now. I don't have it. This is a very lightweight steel hammer, and it's quite good. My Fuyon that I use out in the field is carbon fiber. The Rayburn that I had for a while was carbon fiber with wood on it. It was lovely. Anything very rigid and stiff is good. And the tuning tip. I mean, no matter, you can get the best lever on the planet and have a crappy tip, and it's not going to work well. That's my opinion. So, anywho. So, do we have any more questions about tuning theory? Because that's what I know more about. I know way more about tuning theory than any of this other stuff. I can give you my opinions on things, but, I apprenticed, I trained through the guild. I did go to the Yamaha factory for, twice for a little training, but mostly it's been apprenticeship on the job, getting help, so I don't know how much I trust my opinions, but with tuning theory, I know a lot. So let's see. Well, thank you all for coming. Any questions about tuning theory or anything? I don't mind answering any other questions. It's not my expertise. I can just talk about my experience. So this is cool. I've got Thomas, Don, Noah, Natalie, and Dolly. I'm so excited. To me, this, and Jeffrey. I don't know if Jeffrey's still here, but thanks for coming. This is cool. I was hoping just to have a handful. 9 to me is successful. I'm thrilled because most people aren't interested in tuning theory. There's ETDs now. You don't need to learn to tune aurally. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I should ask that. I have something I've been wanting to show ETD tuners. In harmonicity. Oh yeah, we could talk about that, Dolly. Noah. Well, for theory, my guy at my university had his thirds with slower beat rates as it gets lower in the register. Yes. Why would someone use this temperament instead? No. That is equal temperament. That is equal temperament. Okay. So that's it. Okay. Let's talk about that. And then Dolly, we can talk about, well, this is an answer in harmonicity. This is equal temperament. Okay. Let me see if I can explain this. This is what I know about. I need a better. Come on. You can do it. Why? Hold on. Oh, I know what's wrong. Hold on. There. Oh, it came off. Well, now what do I do? Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to get it. I can do it. There, I did it. Oh my gosh. This is funny. Me and my basic equipment. Okay. Where's that? Here. I'm over here. F to F. All right, let me start talking about it here. Let's say we do an F to F temperament. All right. Actually, let me talk about A, because we know A4 is 440. Okay. So A3 is going to be 220. A2 is going to be 110. So these numbers get lower. And I know they're numbers, and numbers aren't real per se, but they do represent something very real here. So if I have, if A3 is 220, I don't know what F is. I forget all the time. Okay. Let me think. I'm going to make something up. Okay. So this is actually, oh God, I hate making something up. I'm going to make something up. So if A is 220 and F is, let's just say 200. I know that's not right, but let's just say that. Okay. Then the difference between them is 20. Okay. Now, if we take A from 220 down to 110, and we take F at 200 down to 100, now what's the difference between them? It's just 10. Okay. Now let's take it up. So we have 220, 440. This was 200. This is now 400. What's the difference between them? 40. So if you think of their hertz as affecting beats per second, the difference, okay, the difference as you go down is lower. The difference as you go up is higher. So as you go down with major thirds, mathematically, they literally get slower as they go down. And in reality, they do. They get slower as they go down. So this is still equal temperament. Equal temperament means we're spacing the notes out equally between each other. 100 cents. Cents aren't real. I should talk about that actually, but I'll do that in a minute. So as you go down, all intervals should slow down and all intervals should speed up as you go up. The way we tune, fifths, fourths, and octaves stay quiet. But the fast beating intervals definitely get slower as you go down and faster as you go up in equal temperament. So I hope that answers that question. What did I just say? I said we should talk about, cents. Okay. So the difference between notes as you go down with hertz gets smaller as you go down with any interval, including just each note. And as you go up, those numbers get bigger as you go up. Noah says that makes sense. Figures I forgot how to do math after becoming a music major. No, it's okay. It's fine. My favorite math in this is adding intervals. So if you have a major third and you have what is it? An octave, 8 plus 8 is 15 in the piano. That's always the fun part. Okay. So cents, however, don't change. So between each note is 100 cents. So 100 cents down low is a very different kind of thing than 100 cents up high. 100 cents up high, there's a bigger gap in that. 100 cents up high covers a greater space numerically than down low. Down low, 100 cents covers a smaller mathematical gap, if that makes sense. So cents are very different. They're much less real than numbers. I'm glad that made sense. Yay! Any other questions? Let me see if I can. I can do this. There, I can get it. This is my first live stream. It's going to be rough. It's just the way it is. It makes sense. Ha, ha. Natalie says it makes sense. CENTS. You can see all my book and my printer and stuff over there. My house is a mess right now. It's okay. I put this up so someone could have privacy, but he's gone now. Natalie gave me a smiley face with glasses because we're all nerds. We are geeks. Noah, if it's not too long of an explanation, what is your process? I hate answering this question. I will tell you. Wait. Let's see. Noah, Thomas, what do you do if strings have unisons? 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 Like unisons? Like, are you serious or kidding? Is that a real question? Let's see. Unisons. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I will go over my process for setting a temperament as long as you let me explain something first, because I don't like doing that, and I need to explain why I don't like doing that, but I will. But Thomas, can you explain what you mean by unisons? Unless it's a joke. If strings have unisons, you mean like false beats? Thank you, Noah. You're sweet. I'll go over a little bit. Because I think I can do it now and explain some things that I couldn't be. When I first started tuning aurally, I really didn't want to explain how I did it because I'll explain in a minute. Thomas, if you have own beats, you're English. That's okay. False beats. Yes, false beats. Okay. So if I have false beats, I'm a little lazy about it. If a piano has false beats, it has false beats. You can hear past them. You identify the false beat. So, for example, sometimes I'll be tuning in a unison and I can't get it. I'm like, what the heck? And I'll play the string that I'm moving by itself, and it's going wah 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 wah. I'm like, oh, okay. Hi, Sean. That's okay. So with false beats, once I know it's there, I'll listen to the false beat, wah, 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 and I'll ignore it to a point as I put in my unison, because I'll just try to listen to the beats of the unison. And then with the false beat, half of the time, no, more than half of the time, I can tune that false beat to be slower. Because so if you have a false beat, like imagine these are your partials of a unison. Okay, if one has a false beat, it means it's a little there. Like if this is the fundamental, it means one has different no wait, that's in a single string. A single string is basically putting out two pitches and they're beating on some of them. I know that's a fact on some of them. On the rest, I'm not sure. I don't know. Some false beats are caused by a loose bridge pin. It can cause them. But if I'm putting together a unison, sometimes you can phase it. You can detune it just a little bit. So some of the harmonics line up with the harmonics in ways that it'll slow the beat down. You can tune it to slow the beat down. More than half the time you can get it to slow down. And then, yes, phase cancellation. It's phase cancellation. That's fancy. Natalie, phase cancellation. Yes. Noah, that's fancy. Less than half the time I have done this. It's fun. You should always try to do it. And if you fail, no, don't worry about it. It's the way it is. I can get the false beats to go away with phase cancellation. Natalie, it feels like superpowers when that happens. Yes, you feel awesome because you like made magic happen because you can cancel out the beats. So if you tune the unison just right, yes, Thomas, you can basically erase them because of cancellation, of phase cancellation. So you tune that unison out just a little bit and you can get them to go away or at least slow down. Thomas, I know a trick how to erase them. Different than what I'm saying? If you do, please share. If you know a different way. And what else was I going to say? While he's thinking that, I'm going to read back on the comments here. Oh, temperament. That's right. I'm going to come to that in our last 5 to 10 minutes, and you can ask me questions about it. I'll try to do it in a way that makes sense. And, well, let me talk about why I didn't used to like to share that. I'm getting more courage to do it because now I understand how to explain. So I'll explain this while Thomas is writing or thinking about how to erase false beats. And there's ways to, let me go back to false beats. Sometimes you can lower a string really, really far and get it to loosen across the hitch pin. If it's a a double string, a single string going for 2 speaking lengths. There you go. And then pull it back up and then pull up the other side a little bit. And when you move it, sometimes that'll erase a false beat or partially get rid of it. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. So there's that. And then sometimes you can clean the string. Clean it. Get a rag. Rub it. Go over it. You're only getting 1/2 of it, but sometimes it helps. Not a lot, but every now and then it will. So there's that. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. temperament, back to temperament. So I learned how to tune aurally from Rick Butler, and how Rick teaches is how I teach now. And it's learning the fundamentals of tuning, when the last thing we do is set a temperament. We learn everything else first. How to manipulate intervals, how they interact, how smaller groups of intervals interact. When you know that, setting a temperament is much easier. My pet peeve, this is why I don't usually share it, but my pet peeve is when people say, oh, I can do this temperament, I'll just follow the steps. And they don't get the training or the understanding of how intervals interact. When they don't get that training and understanding, it's guesswork over the top. It's trial and error, which, I mean, there's some of that involved anyway, but they don't know what they're doing. And it's too much hit and miss. Natalie says, sometimes I reseat the strings. Yes. Or slide it to the side a hair to get, ooh, what is this? Oh, I don't know this. Yeah, reseat the strings. Make sure they're seated at the bridge. Be careful not to bang on these, because I've seen bridges that have been damaged from people trying to seat the strings when they're already seated. If they're not seated, they're going to move. I had a wooden dowel once, and I could see the strings were up on those bridge pins. I could see it, and I just tapped it with my hand, and bam, I have the video somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I want to find it, but it was loud. Those strings moved. I've only had that happen once. Thomas, you can take a piece of wood and saw a small slit into it, with which one can stroke over the string, and the string loses the false beat, but it slightly destroys the overtones. Oh, really? I will have to play with that. I am translating with AI here. I think I understand. Yeah. So you're rubbing the string. So that would be like cleaning it on steroids, where I'm just rubbing it with a rag. He's taking a dowel with a slit in it and going over the string. So you'd be doing several things there other than cleaning it. You'd be heating it up, which the rag also does. It heats it up. And some people say heating it up can get rid of false beats. And he said it can destroy the overtones. I'll have to play with that. It might make them more quiet. That'll be interesting if it affects the tone. Interesting. I will have to try. I'm gonna try it. We'll have to try it. My Wurlitzer has so many false beats. I'm sorry, Noah. I understand. It's so terrible. Try what Thomas just suggested. My only caveat. Wait, Thomas says you can try it. The pianos you tune will be really good sounding, but be careful. Be careful of what? Be careful of what can go wrong. I was going to say, if you heat a string up, you always risk causing false beats. There's always that chance. So I'm hesitant to do anything. But if they're that bad, try some things. Try his dowel trick. Try cleaning them. Try lowering one and pulling up the other side and then pulling it back up and moving that string. That can affect it. Just getting it to change, if you have two strings, getting it to change. Noah, though at this point, most of my work on the Wurlitzer is learning regulation and repair. Had to replace a bunch of bridle straps and still have a lot of that kind of work to do. Yep, that's how you do it. Just do it. Sean, you can always push it to the curb. You can always push it to the curb. At my piano tech camp last year, we had a bonfire and threw a piano lid on it. Natalie, I have another piano lid. But we have two camps and I only have one lid. So I think I'm going to get my first camp to flip a coin. And then whatever it is, it is. Hi, Sean. Noah, best way to get rid of false beats, work on another piano. Yeah. Just tune it, be done, move on. Go to another piano. No false beats. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I have a few minutes left. I can go a little over. I'm flexible, but let me show you what I do a little bit. And see, here's the problem. What I do can change from piano to piano, but I'll talk about that. Okay. So this piano is not in tune. The first thing I do is just set up my bass foundation. Oh, if I'm tuning from A, I usually just set F. But if a lot of people ask me, what are you doing if you're tuning from A? So A to A, D. Okay, E. Now I'm, how did I do that before? I don't remember. I don't do it very often. I rarely tune from A. But I want this to be around 7 beats a second, this to be around 8 beats a second. So if I'm tuning from A, I shoot for that and cross my fingers, you know. But I prefer to set F temperaments. Now, if I have a piano where the strings are wound, I'll do a G or an A. And it's the same process. It doesn't matter which octave I'm on. It doesn't matter. I set the lower fifths and fourths to something approximate. And they don't have to be exact because I might move them. That's the thing. You got to remember everything is flexible. So that gives me a little foundation outline. I do a lot with this fifth and sixth. Okay, so once I have the fourths and fifths tuned, I have this fifth. I'm shooting for 7 beats a second here, 8 beats a second here. Now I've got to think about this because it's not written down anywhere. I just made this up on my own. So now I have this fourth tuned, which means I have this major third. I'm going to tune A flat from C, and this should be, you know, faster than F to A, of course, and slower than this. But now I also have this sixth. So I have a lower sixth, upper sixth, has to be faster. These are just, you know, nothing's set in stone. It just gives me a red flag. If this were really slow, I'd know something was wrong. This would either be too sharp or that would be too flat, you know. And let's see. What do I do? I've got D, G. I'm going to tune G from C, and it has to work with my D. So this is a big deal here. This has to work. And this, you know, has to work. So you've got fifth, fifth, fourth, fourth. All that has to work with these progressing. This has to be equal to or slower than that. And I'm measuring everything. So I'm tuning my fourths, I'm measuring them. Measure my fifth. I prefer the second coincident partial. If you can't hear it, you can use the first just to double check yourself. Now, once I have these two fourths tuned, I'm going to listen to every other minor third here, because minor thirds also have to progress. And I have a trick here. If they don't, this middle minor third informs me about my fourths, because that's the note of this fourth, that's the note of this fourth. If this is too slow or too fast, that tells me a lot about what I need to fix before I move on. And I'm not going to talk about how that works now, but it works really, really well. Then let's see. I'm probably going to tune C sharp at some point. Depends on the piano, depends on my mood. Because with this C sharp, I have contiguous thirds. I have this fourth right here, and I have this major third. So major thirds, those have to progress. And I don't always do this in the same order, but this is still basically it. Now, F sharp's a big deal here. This fifth has to work. Those major thirds have to progress. The minor thirds have to progress. If they don't, it's a huge red flag that something's wrong, and I may as well not keep going. I've got to go back and fix. Now, I know I have a good idea of what to fix. Like if this is, I'm not going to explain it now, but if this is way slower, you backtrack and you can find what's wrong, you know, with much less guesswork. But if they do progress, then B, I can tune B for my F sharp, but the thirds have to progress. There's my B. And this fourth has to come out right. If the fourth isn't right, then I know I've screwed up. And the minor thirds must progress here as well. All the minor thirds must progress. Major thirds, well, I'm starting from here. So at this point, I'll have tuned everything between F and D, and I only have 2 notes left. If I get this right, these 2 just fall into place. I've got 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, and then I have to double check my F. If this is not faster than this, I know I've got to mess with stuff and fiddle with it, you know. But then in the end, I want this. Whoops, sorry. I want these to progress. My fifths and fourths all have to sound good. This must progress. So when I'm tuning this note, not only do I have 5th, 4th, I have 6th. Oh, another thing. This is a really nice check. So when I tune G to B, I check it also with my F to D. Those should be equal here. Those should be equal. Where am I? Those should be equal. Those should be equal. If you have all that, that's good. It's a good temperament. Let's see, who's talking here? Let's see. Noah, Thomas. Not to stretch the strings too much. First, gently increase until the. Oh. This is the answer to the false beat. I'll come back to that. Thomas, I do a completely different. I know you meant temperament, not temperature. Well, there's a million temperaments. This is one I made up. Natalie says, wow, that's so different from what I do. There are a million temperaments. I just like what I do. I made this one up for myself. From what I learned, it's what I like. It works for me really well. I can use other temperaments, but I like this one. Thomas, in school, they taught me to tune A4 to A and then in 4ths and 5ths. So that gets you close. You can do I can do what I just did from A to A. It's just, it gets faster. So if you do A to A, that would be my foundation. And I do the exact same thing. There's my 5th, 4th. Oh, sorry, 4th. It would be exactly the same. It would just be higher up. Pretty much. Now, if you tune with 5th and 4th, that's fine. So probably like this. Then you go down. Where am I here? Yeah. I haven't done this in a while. Yeah. So that would be up a 5th, down a 4th from A to A. And you can do that, but if your 3rds don't progress, it's not good. Your 3rds and 6ths must progress. If they don't, something's wrong. So I like to use 3rds and 6ths as I go, because if you don't find out till the end that it's messed up, it's a pain in the butt. But you can do that. Just use some 3rds and 6ths as you go. Sean, I would like to learn the checks you use, i.e. the inside 3rds equals the 6th surrounding it. Yeah, I have videos on that somewhere. I have a video about a 6th, and I talk about this. I talk about this. I talk about minor 3rd, major 6th is really handy as you go outside the temperament. The minor 3rd has to be faster than the 6th. And what's nice about this, so let's say I'm tuning E. If I move E down, where's my E? Here we go. Remember. If I move E down, I slow down the minor 3rd, but I speed up the 6th. Okay, and the minor 3rd must stay faster than the 6th. Absolutely must. So it's a nice check. It's a nice check. Oh gosh, hold on. There's a lot of comments here. By tuning 5ths and 4ths, I don't need to count any numbers. Well, that's true. But and people can do this. If you tune with 5ths and 4ths and your 3rds and 6ths come out, great. I can't do that. I can't, but I know people who can. More power to them. I just can't do that. I have to do it with my fast beating intervals. But if you tune an A to A and you go to do your major 3rds and they don't progress, it's not good. You got to go back and fix. But if they come out and your 6ths come out, you're good. That's all that matters. That Thomas says that happens. The 5ths and 4ths are not in the middle. Not sure what that means. Oh, Sean. Oh, and I should mention, I don't know Jack. What? I'm sure you know some things. That's funny. Fifths and fourths are not in the middle. What does that mean? You mean up a fifth, down a fourth? Like that? Is that what you meant? You just got to go up and down. I'm not, that might be what you meant. I'm not sure. Thomas. So they kind of have the same speed. They're very close. So from F to F, especially F to C, the major thirds are about a half a beat a second different. Very close. Not very different at all. Bye, Natalie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you too. Bye. Thank you for coming. I got to sign off of here too soon. So they're not the same speed, but gradually speeding up a half a beat a second different. Now, as you get up, they're more the same speed, and as you go down, they're more the same speed. But in here, well, let me think. Yeah, they get closer together as you go up or down. Don't know, Jack. That's funny. Bye, Natalie. Thomas. This will lead the third similar and yes, and continuously going slower. Correct. As you go down, they should go slower. Thomas. AD should be 1 beat per second and AE around 0.75, I believe. What are we talking about? A to D. Oh, the fifths and fourths. Yeah, basically. But the problem, now if you're on A to A, you can count on that. If you're using an A to A, you're probably fine. Just remember, yeah, that's right. Thomas has it. But as you go down, as you cross the tenor break, that's going to be messed up a little bit. Just remember that. It's going to mess with you. And that's when you can really use your major thirds and sixths, because the inharmonicity is going to shift across the tenor. But yes, fourths around 1 beat a second, fifths 0.75. Yes. The problem is that's hard to hear for a lot of people. A beat a second's not too bad, but fifths, you get a feel for it. Everybody gets a feel for it. I could probably, do this now more than I could have 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I couldn't do that. I could probably do it now. So I am about out of time. Any last minute questions? I think what I'm going to do, I can do this. I think what I'm going to do is take excerpts out of this video and post them as little separate videos, because this is long. It's an hour. We're over an hour. Yeah. Thomas says, yeah, and now use this schematic. You mean schematic always? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. But if you're saying you always use your method and it works, then great. Good. I can't. I need to know what's going on. All right. Okay, I think we're good. What's this? Dolly says yes. What is yes? You have a question, or yes, we're ready to sign off? Okay. Well, it's 9:11. We've gone a little over an hour. Thomas, thank you for taking the time. Sure. Yeah, you're welcome. I love this stuff. I'm having a blast. I absolutely love talking about aural tuning and stuff like this. And I like teaching and sharing. And you're welcome, Dolly. And look at what happened here. We learned some things from each other, not from me. One person, I think it was Thomas, shared something about false beats, unless it was, wait a minute now. Unless it was Noah. I think it was Thomas. Yep, Thomas. Thomas shared an idea with everybody for how to remove false beats. That's what this is all about. We're sharing knowledge and information. Yay! Welcome. So thank you all. My next one, if people come, even if 2 or 3 people show up, I'll do this. I'm not looking for, whoops, I forgot I have a lesson at 9. I have to go. So my next one will be Sunday the 27th, this coming Sunday at 3:00. All right, I got to go. Thank you all for coming. Bye.